Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
What's happening? Welcome to YEG MS episode number 33. Before we get going, I wanted to mention MS Buddy from Healthline. What's MS Buddy? It's an app. And it's an app for MSers. It's an app for an MS warrior just like yourself. And what does it do? Well, you download the MS Buddy app from either the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And then each day, you get connected through the app with another MSer somewhere around the globe. It gives you an opportunity to meet other people in your community, chat, share stories, share ideas, share suggestions. It's a really, really good idea. So if you've been recently diagnosed, or if you've been diagnosed for a while, but you've been struggling with reaching out and meeting other people in your community, you're afraid to ask questions, maybe this is the answer for you. It's free, and you have nothing to lose. So why not give MS Buddy a try? You can download it from the the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. I apologize for my tardiness getting this episode out. I have been going through a major life transition over the past few weeks. I've switched I wish I could speak too, but I've switched careers, and this is day 2 of my my new position with Mono McGann Canada, and it was a stressful time for not only myself but my wife, and obviously when the two parents are feeling some stress, obviously that can transfer down to the kids. But it's all done now. It's going well, and I'm looking forward to a bright future. And one of the great benefits to this job switch has been my schedule's a little bit different than it was before, and my wife was actually was in the process of losing her workout buddy. So I mentioned to her, well, I can start coming with you early in the morning, on the days of the weeks that she was going with her friend. So I signed up for a pass at that gym, and the past 2 days we've gone together in the morning, and it's been really, really good. And the nice thing is, I needed to change my exercise. Obviously, I run a lot, but my knees and hips and feet and everything else need a break from all that pounding. So lifting weights and going into that style of a gym is a nice switch. It was kind of funny though, the very first time, it's been a while since I've lifted weights, and I remember the weights I used to be able to do 20 years ago, and so I went to go do bench press, the very first day, and I put on what I thought was my warm-up weight from way back. Well, my warm-up weight was the weight, and it was an eye-opener, but it's been a lot of fun, and I've been told I've read and been told from various sources that building up muscle mass can have a neuroprotective effect. So I guess, obviously when I go to exercise, MS is wrapped into it, but it's not specifically for it. I just needed to change my workout routine, and it's cold outside here, and snow and ice, and running's just not a lot of fun. So this is a nice switch for the winter, and then when it thaws out in the springtime, I'll get back on the pavement. I also wanted to give a shout out to Rob W. Rob W. is probably the most consistent emailer as far as listeners go. And about 3 weeks ago, when I released the last episode, he had sent me a note asking if I'd heard of any connections between multiple sclerosis and polio. So Rob, I wanted you to know that I have been looking into it. I have been reading about it, but there's been nothing definitive yet. And I'm still looking and I'm still reading. And if I find something, I will share it here, and I will reach out to you and share with you what I find, and I'll even email you back any papers or anything I find if I find anything specifically about that. It is always interesting to look at whether or not, the condition that we share, is it similar to other things? And I actually read a news article about 2 weeks ago when I was doing some snooping around for Rob, talking about Lyme disease, and probably most of us are familiar that Lyme disease can really emulate the symptoms of MS, and sometimes people with Lyme disease are misdiagnosed of having multiple sclerosis. So it's always good to be aware if there's any similar conditions in that. So I am still looking, and as soon as I find something, I will share it, not only with Rob but with any of the listeners of this podcast. Now, one of the things that we did, my family and I did, about 3 weeks ago, was we took our 4-year-old, who's Jonah, and our 6-year-old, who's Bella. We all went to a movie together, and this is the first time, number one, this is the first time we've ever gone to a movie where we actually were able to watch the whole 2 hours. Usually one or both of them has had enough before the movie's over. But we went and saw the Justice League. And I know if you read around and if you read reviews and Rotten Tomatoes and some of the press it's getting, you might be staying away because you think that it's a bad movie. Here's my take on it. So this MS podcast is now a movie review podcast. Well, at least it is today. I thought Justice League was a ton of fun. Is it a perfect movie? No. Are there issues with it? Sure. But is anyone going into a superhero movie and really expecting literature? Because some of the reviews you read, you think, well, yeah, fair enough, but it's a superhero movie. This isn't an interpretation of Shakespeare. This isn't somebody trying to put Dante's Inferno on the screen. This is a superhero movie. And yes, granted, I will give a little bit of weight to the argument, but, where people say, yeah, but these characters are archetypal, yada, yada, yada. Sure, but at the end of the day, it's 5 people running around in swimsuits fighting super-powered villains from another dimension. What were you expecting? And on that level, it's a fun movie. Our kids have fun. The adults had fun. There were some laughs. Again, is it the perfect movie? No. Did I notice Superman's, CGI removed mustache? I didn't until it was pointed out. But I might be a rarity in this day and age where I go into a movie simply to be entertained. I'm not going into it looking to pick it apart. I haven't read all the reviews before, so I can try and find all the problems. I'm there to have fun, and it was fun. So if you want to see a fun movie, I'd suggest going to see it. If you're one of those people who's overly critical, reads all the reviews, makes up their mind before they don't go see it. You're gonna find the mistakes you already know about. So that's my take on that. And we're only a week or two away now from my anticipated movie. I'm a huge nerd, and I can't wait for Star Wars: The Last Jedi to come out. I am super thrilled about it, and I can't wait. I'm a lifelong Star Wars guy. My son is becoming a Star Wars guy. He went as Kylo Ren for Halloween, and we bought him a lightsaber. And I actually gave him all my old Star Wars figures that I had in a box for the last 35 years. And it's cool because he plays with them, and it's kind of neat. He also got my old Optimus Prime too. So yeah, it was kind of a treasure day that day because I had him this box full of toys, and you should have seen his eyes. Yes, I can't wait for that. I also will go see the Han Solo movie that's coming out in the spring, although I'm not certain how that's going to go over. I don't know how an actor replaces an icon like Harrison Ford, but I'll go into it with an open mind, and if it's fun, then that's all it has to be. It just has to be fun. I'm not expecting some subtext that's talking about the current world events or this or that. I mean, I'm just going in to have fun. And now we're getting close to the holiday season, so I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, we've had, as I mentioned from the outset, it's been a stressful last couple of weeks around my house because of the situation with my employment. So I'm looking forward to the break, and we're actually taking off to Bragg Creek, which if you're not familiar with, you're not from the area where I am. It's about 40 minutes west of Calgary on the highway going towards Banff. It's sort of in the foothills of the mountains, and we rent this lodge, and there'll be, 10 or 15 of us. And we do that. We're there for 4 days, and snowshoeing and cross-country skiing and campfires and lots of wine, lots of laughs, lots of food, and I couldn't be more thrilled. And it'll be a nice break. It'll be a nice break coming into September, starting a new job, really getting juiced up, and then really getting after it next year. What are you doing for the holidays? Do you have special things planned? Now, one thing to note about the holidays is if you're following a specific diet, and I mentioned that a few episodes ago about diet, and there are all kinds of different MS diets, and certain MS diets eliminate certain things where other ones don't. And at the end of the day, if you found one that works for you, great. But the holidays are always tough, right? Because if you go to a place where they've got, the Christmas baking and the way they prepare, say, the turkey or the ham or whatever it is, that you enjoy over the holiday season. And I know for years my family's always like, oh, Sean, can you have this? Oh, can you have that? Can you? And they've always been really good about it. But it does create a little bit of stress, obviously, because it's, you don't want to get off track, but at the same time, you don't want to be that giant wet blanket, right? So my family's good about it. They always let me know about the things I can have and can't have. And the nice thing with my wife and I, we both eat the same way. So anything we bring, we're okay. So my tips are bring your own food. If there's any doubts, bring your own food. We always do. We always make sure that we have more than enough. Because you don't want to rely on other people, right? You don't want to, put your... I guess the better way to put it, you can't expect people to immediately be conscious or cognizant of your diet and then the why you're doing it, right? So I just never felt that was a fair thing. So we bring our own. And I actually have had fun. Last year I had a lot of fun doing the Christmas baking with the kids. They like doing it with me because they know they get a treat when it's done, right? So another thing I wanted to mention on this episode is I was looking at the statistics for this podcast over the past few weeks, and it's really kind of blown me away. When I started it, I initially, the intent was to have a podcast that was centered around where I live, which is Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And my intent was just to, and the YEG of YEG MS is the airport code for the Edmonton International Airport. I suppose in this day and age, I should have maybe expected, but I didn't. I assumed that most of the listeners would be from in and around Edmonton and largely from Alberta. Well, here we are 2 years later, and most of my listeners are in the United States. About 2/3 of the listeners are from the United States. And then with the 1/3 being from Canada, which makes sense if you just go based on population, right? And way back in third place would be the United Kingdom. But then when I looked at the cities, all the different cities, it's for me it's a little mind blowing because my voice is more well traveled than I am. When I look at the top cities, well, here's the top cities list that have listened to the podcast. Edmonton is number 1. Calgary, Alberta is number 2, which is not a surprise. Number 3 is Ashburn, Virginia, in the United States. The 3rd is Mountain View, which is the United States. And then San Jose, Toronto, Newport, Massachusetts, Sherwood Park. Well, here's the top 10. Sherwood Park, Phoenix, Arizona, and Yellowknife. But when I look down, now I suppose some of these should be surprising because some of these are in the sort of the Silicon Valley belt, right? But when I look down near the bottom, it's really interesting to me that countries like Mexico and Israel, Japan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates. I'm just looking at the list: Czech Republic, Poland, Turkey. So I just wanted to thank all listeners, wherever you are in the world. If you find any value in this, or if it's helping you at all, that's amazing. And it's really neat for me to think that, I can record an episode, maybe this one, maybe the other ones, and then somebody somewhere has their earbuds in. Maybe they're going for a run. Maybe they're listening to it in their car. It's strange to think about, in a way, that your voice travels and that people are listening to things that you have to say. But at the same time, it's really, really, it's really cool. It's, I didn't really know what to expect doing this. I more just did to see if I could do it. And, the response has been really, really, really cool. So the other thing is, on that note, wherever you are in the world, if you want to be a guest on this podcast, send me an email to Sean@ownmultiplesclerosis.com. That's SEAN, own, OWN, multiplesclerosis.com. And we can do it via Skype, via FaceTime. We don't have to record the video. It can just be your voice. We don't have to use your full name. But if you want to be a part of the show, share your opinion. Whether you agree with me or not is really irrelevant. It's more just to have a discussion. I love doing interviews, and I think it's for the betterment of everyone if there's more voices, and that's why I really like being part of the MS&Me radio community, because there's a ton of voices. So that maybe you just think that I'm a complete moron, and that's fine, and you might not be wrong. But maybe you'll find another one of the personalities on the MS&Me radio network that more suited to you. This is such a personal journey you go on after your diagnosis. But even introverted people like me need support, and they need to find like-minded individuals to give support, give guidance, give advice, share, So if you want to be part of this, please, you can reach out to me anytime. And for listeners like Rob and some of the other regular emailers that send stuff in, please keep sending them in. Getting a response means that people are listening and people care. And it gives me motivation to keep doing it. If there was no response, then I wouldn't do it. Because why would I? So if you have thoughts, have suggestions, have questions, send them to me. You can also follow me on Twitter at ownms.com1. So it's OWNMSDOTCOM and then the number 1. You can get a hold of me that way if you like. You can also find me on Facebook at Own Multiple Sclerosis. There's a page. I've had several people message me through that page over the last couple of months, and that's a good way to get a hold of me too. Just one word of caution with Facebook. I don't check it daily, so it may take me a day or two to get back to you, but I will respond. So what else is going on? Well, here's something that's absolutely not MS related, but I'm super excited about. So as part of my new job, I got a new phone. It's an iPhone 8. And apparently it has some augmented reality and some virtual reality apps that you can get for it. Same as you can get on an Android phone. So when I heard that, I thought I'd just look and see how much the 3D goggles were. And I was able to find them for $39 Canadian. So it's like 10 cents American on, not really 10 cents, maybe like $25 American, 20, something like that, but on Amazon, and they're supposed to be arriving today. And apparently, you can use these 3D glasses or virtual reality glasses with Google Earth. And the one example, the one article I read was you can basically stand at the base of the Eiffel Tower. Now, how realistic it is, I have absolutely no idea. But I will let you know once I've tested it out. If it's anywhere close to being cool, I'm sure I'm going to love it. And the other thing I'm excited about is, and actually, sorry, I said that this wasn't MS related, but I can actually relate it to MS. I used to, when I was younger, love going on roller coasters. There's one in the West Edmonton Mall. I absolutely love it. There's some drops on it where you get that feeling in the lower part of your stomach where it's just like that pure fear feeling. And I haven't been able to go on them for a number of years now since my diagnosis, because while I don't notice my balance issues too much day to day, when I get whipped around like that, I get pretty dizzy and nauseous, where I didn't when I was younger. So there are a number of these roller coaster simulations for this headset. Now I'm hoping, and this may be naively hoping, and likely is naively hoping, that I will be able to experience roller coasters again to a degree and not get the nausea and the dizziness. So again, I'll keep you posted on how that goes. I'm not much of a gamer, so I don't know that any of that like chasing zombies and stuff, I don't really know if that really has much attraction to me. But certainly the Google Earth thing is what did it. I mean, that's why I bought them, because I thought, well, Google's pretty much mapped most of the major populated areas in 360 degree view, so it would be pretty neat, to go to I mean, you're not going anywhere, but to view a lot of the places I want to travel to while sitting in my office. Again, it wouldn't replace the real experience, but it would be at least give you a better sense of, as I mentioned, the Eiffel Tower or, the pyramid, something like that. Like that, give you a better sense of, because when you just see it on a TV screen, you really you really can't understand the size and the depth, and in the proper context where it's situated, what the views around it are. All you're getting is that narrow perspective of whoever's holding that camera, and you can't look around. So, pretty excited about that. Another cool thing, last night, for the very first time ever, my wife got to be the tooth fairy. I don't know how that relates to anything. It just popped into my head, so I thought I'd share it. And we didn't know really what to do. She looked at me, well, what do I do? And she's like, how much? I'm like, I don't know. So we agreed on an amount, and then, the big thing was trying to get into the room to sneak the money under the pillow or whatever and take the tooth. And which really, if we would have thought about it, it would have been a lot, we're probably going to laugh about it now tonight when we talk about it. Because my daughter sleeps so deeply. I'm pretty sure fireworks could go off in her room and she wouldn't wake up. But here we are just paranoid about how we're going to get this money underneath this pillow and grab this damn tooth. But then the funny thing is, obviously, you kind of wake up a few times during the night. So every time she woke up during the night, she was obviously checking underneath her pillow because she came into our room at about, 1 or 2 in the morning, really excited that the tooth fairy had been there. So, and this is number 1 of I don't know how many, because then once she's done, we've got Jonah after her. So, this is one of those moments in life that's nice because, you're kind of getting to that next. You're moving through a phase. I don't want my kids to grow up too quick, but that means they're growing up. So maybe we're doing something right. Anyways, I've only got about a minute and a half here left, so I wanted to mention again, if anybody out there has a question or wants to be a guest or wants to interact in any way, Sean at ownmultiplesclerosis.com. If you want to comment on this episode, go to ownmultiplesclerosis.com. You can click on the link for this episode, and you can comment there. You want to find me on Twitter at ownms.com1. Also on Facebook, look up Own Multiple Sclerosis. This podcast is also on TuneIn Radio, Stitcher Radio, SoundCloud, and iTunes. So you can find it anywhere. Oh, and YouTube. So depending on the way you like to listen or consume your media, I've tried making it as easy as possible depending on what your preferred app is. Anyways, I will talk to you again in a few weeks. I think the next episode I'm going to do, it'll be getting pretty close to Christmas time, so I might be doing a special themed episode. I don't know. We'll see what comes up. But anyways, until next time, take care, be strong, and have a great holiday season wherever you are. Take care.